Hello and welcome to the Awaken Journey. My name is Debbie Wilson and I am your host for this virtual retreat. And it is my extreme and beautiful privilege to have my dear friend and colleague, DearJames, joining me here today for this wonderful Facebook Live. How are you, DearJames?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Thank you.
We are thrilled that you're here. And I just want to say first to everyone, welcome. We are excited to answer your questions. So if you're here and as you start to come in, because I know we're just getting started, please let us know that you're here with us. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please put them in the comments and we will get to them as soon as we possibly can. So what I'd like to do is do a quick recap. So when we last spoke, we spoke about you can't unring the bell once it's rung. We spoke about everything that's going on in your life is happening for you and not to you, which is a very important thing to consider in all things that we're experiencing. Talking about all the different signs and synchronicities that are around you happening, you know, as you're aware or not necessarily aware, but signs and synchronicities everywhere. And so what I'd like to talk about in taking off from some of those different topics is about past lives. So yesterday we had Rob here talking about pre-birth planning, et cetera. And I really want to kind of jump off from that point about how do past lives affect us in our current life, and maybe even in future lives from a perspective of soul, source, symphony, spirit, et cetera.
Absolutely. It's a big one. Past lives they affect us. If you are in a state of belief that you've only been here this time, you're a human in this body having this one experience, the way they're saying to me is you're going to be a little lost, because the truth of the matter is you've been here before, you may be here again. I mean, the soul gets to choose. And what we do in each lifetime, what we do in this lifetime matters. And what I have found from both personal and professional experience is that past lives matter, and they matter in ways of both good and challenges. So, you know, opportunities, they're all opportunities, but they present both the positives and the challenges. And so what does that mean? It means that a lot of times you can trace back, as Debbie, as you and I have talked about many times, you can look or trace back to a previous life, the piece, the thread that you may not have achieved or attained or corrected in the previous life. And so I call it a bleed through. You're having a bleed through moment of that past life in this one. So when you go into a past life regression or multi-incarnational regression, or as Rob was speaking yesterday about the before life soul regression, any one of those is going to identify in different ways. You'll see the lifetime, you'll see the thread, and you may be having an experience with someone, say it's your mother, your child, your spouse, and you're having this issue and it's just gnawing at you. And all of a sudden you go and do a past life regression, and you see that lifetime where the issue is playing out, or you see why they're doing what they're doing in this lifetime. And it's an instantaneous, like, aha moment. You go, oh, that's why they're doing this. And we used to be, and you used to be that, and I was this, and all of a sudden you just get this release. And it allows you to cope in the present moment far easier. You release it, you let go.
Right. So people really, we don't want to undervalue or underestimate the value of actually doing a past life regression. And so whether it's so let's talk about that in relationship to you and what it is that you do. So, because in a past life regression, that's when we're sitting down maybe with a regressionist who's actually taking you through your entire experience, and multiple past lives can come up through that, or they can isolate in on certain ones that maybe you've come into that past life regression wanting specific information about. But where you're concerned, and this is the part I find to be so fascinating about your connection and your abilities that you have been blessed with, is you're not a past life regressionist hypnotist. You're not a certified medium per se. You're not any of these things, but you're all those things without having to actually go through the training, because you have those skill sets. You can tap into someone's Akashic records. You can tap into that information that they would get through those. You can tap into past lives. People come through in mediumship through for you. So let's talk about that piece and how you can assist someone with that type of past life information.
So again, to clarify, past life regression work and so forth, you can do both on your own with, there are meditative mediums, if you will, mediums meaning CDs or downloads and so forth. So you can do past life regression on your own in the comfort of your own home. You can also do it with hypnotists and so forth, like Rob and others. There's many different practitioners. And of course, you want to find a reputable one, and that's key. And then in relation to how it works for me, so when I listen to Spirit, Source, and Symphony, to the unseen, they play a picture. They give me the whole movie. So, and whether that's someone's loved one that's coming through, or there's the past life, or it's the symphony, or it's a soloist of the symphony, I'll know who it is. I'll know what they're at, what they want to impart to you. It could be a medical issue and so forth. So whatever the unseen wants you to know for your highest and best in that moment, they're going to show me. They're going to provide that to me. And so if it happens to be a past life that's causing the issue, they'll bring to my attention that, the issue that you're struggling with is from a past life. And here's what the linchpins are, or here's what's happening. And it will speak to you in that way of, you'll have oh, yeah, you know what, that's funny, or I've thought about that, or I've felt that and not known what to do with it. And they're bringing it forward for you so that you know, is it a past loved one? Is it medical? Is it past life? What's the issue that they are there to assist you with so that you overcome it, so that you move through?
So that's beautiful. You have access to such breadth and expansive information. You're not limited by any one specific modality per se. You have access to whatever it is that Soul Source Symphony Spirit wants you to know, to share with that individual. So
yes,
that's perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. It's really,
that's wonderful. Okay, one brief moment. So thank you, Jacqueline. She says, hello, Debbie and DearJames. Nice to see us both. It's wonderful to have you here, Jacqueline. And Bridget, it said, yes, this replay will be available in the Facebook group. You can watch it at any time. I'm sorry to hear that your connection isn't coming through for you right now. And hello, Deborah. Nice to have you here as well. So again, if you have questions for the people who are arriving late, since we've already begun, please feel free to leave your questions here. You're always on time. It's wonderful. So disregard what I just said. So we do have some questions that were put in group early. So let's go through those. First, from Elizabeth: how can I prepare myself for an awakening, or if I'm beginning to awaken? What are some good self-care rituals? She has a few parts to this. Is there anything important to do daily? And she says, thank you for taking your time to share with us. She's really enjoyed your energy and openness and has been looking forward to talking to seeing you live all week. So that's lovely. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm sure DearJames appreciates that.
Absolutely. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. So how do you prepare? The single most amazing thing you will do, and it is both the most challenging and the most empowering, and we talk about this in the actual video, is to surrender. So the awakened journey is about letting go of all the masks, of all of the identities, of all the things that you tell yourself you need, you want, I am, all these things. And you simply surrender. And to surrender isn't the definition of like to give up. To surrender is to be the most empowered. Because in that moment, what you're surrendering is your ego, your identity, and you're embracing your soul source connection. It can never lead you, it will never lead you astray. The ego, the personality, oh, it's going to barter, it's going to lie, cheat, steal, negotiate. The ego is wonderful. It's there to protect us, but it's there saying, oh, can't we do it this way? Or couldn't I just? Or, right. Where the soul is like, oh, dead center. It's going right there. So how to prepare? Self-care, that's your second question. How to prepare? Be willing to surrender. That's just paramount. The second part is in the self-care. Be adventurous, be like a child. They often say, the way into the promised land, the way into heaven is to be childlike. And what that really means is to remember your innocence, your purity, your playfulness. Be willing to embrace that. Be willing to be gentle with yourself. It's going to take some unlayering. There's going to be bumps in the road. However, it's like the temperance card. They're showing me the temperance card in the tarot. What goes in is raw iron. It's impure, if you will. What in the firing process, in the forging process, all of those impurities are pounded out. So what comes out of the forge, out of the temperance, is this refined, beautiful, pure instrument. And you are that instrument. So just to realize the impurities, if you will, are there for a reason. They're there to help us, to assist us. They're not there to harm you. They're not there to harm, hurt. They're there to challenge. They're there to inspire. And so the more that you're willing to be playful with yourself, to be kind and gentle with yourself, which means you'll afford that with others. These are some of the ways. And then lastly, again, when you're in the surrender, listen. And they're going to do, there was a moment, Debbie, in Los Angeles, I was walking in there, I'm on one side and they said, change to the other side of the street. So I zigzag across, I'm out doing my walk. I get to the other side of the street and they go, okay, now change back. And they did this 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. Right. To at one point, I was literally like, getting a little annoyed here, like, really? I said, what is the point of this? And exasperation, like, right. And they said, we're training you to listen.
And that's beautiful. That's so important, because a lot of times, I know I'm guilty of this myself. I know in my gut, I have the intuition, the sense that I should do something, and I just don't do it. And then I find, oh, well, yeah, there was a reason I was getting that little tap, because there was a purpose to it, and I should have honored that. And so it is a big part in this journey of really honoring the things that you hear, the things that are coming to you, however they are, whether it's this just, like Rob said, knowings yesterday of what's making you joyous, what's bringing you to this place of just happiness, then that's something you're supposed to do. That is something you're supposed to continue with. Same thing when you hear, whether you're someone who's clairaudient, you hear, or whatever your knowing mechanism is, but that you honor that. It's so important.
Yes. And it's also important to remember, so come into an awareness of, we exercise our minds, we exercise our bodies, we exercise in the sense of our diets, our nutrition. We exercise all of these parts of ourselves. We fail to exercise our soul. And our soul is the one leading. Mm-hmm. And so while all of these things are important, absolutely, that we exercise our minds, our bodies, and so forth, it's also incredibly important to exercise your spirit, your soul, because that then strengthens the muscle. It strengthens the connection of your soul source connection, of your true north, your guiding light.
And that's beautiful and so important to remember. Absolutely. And then she asked about rituals, daily rituals. Anything for that?
So yeah, so again, on daily rituals, I'm a huge proponent, and this is going to be individual to each person. So whether it's a morning gratitude ritual, whether it's, pardon me, it's coming to me and I know what I want, essential oils. Thank you. You know, the purity of having essential oils and listening to which one is it that I need. A ritual about color, where you sit down and you just simply sit. It's a light meditation. You're just sitting with yourself and you say, where is this emotion? If I'm having an anger emotion, if I'm having a happy emotion, where is it that I'm experiencing it? And you'll feel something. It might say, oh, it's in my big toe. Okay. And then where am I? What color is it? What color does it need? And you'll instantly sense a color or colors. And then sit with it for a moment and just work with that color and say, is there anywhere else this color needs to go in my body? You'll be amazed at the fact that it will identify itself in your body. It will identify the color or colors, and it will guide you to where you want to travel with that color. These simple rituals, gratitude, essential oils, color, sound, being mindful of sound. What am I taking in my environment? Do I just sit for 3 minutes and listen to a beautiful song that inspires me or emotes an emotion from me? These are all beautiful rituals that will assist you. And you'll know, and last, water. It might be go take a bath, go sit by the water, go to the ocean, go to a lake, go to moving water is amazing. If you're near a stream, a river, the ocean, things like this, but water, the bath, all of these things are wonderful daily rituals or rituals as you need them.
They're beautiful. Thank you so much. I love the sound. I love the oils, etc. Yes. So that is so important, all of those things. And it's very important that you have a practice, whatever that may be that you choose for yourself, but that you actually have one. That's so important. So let's see, going back to our list here, we have Dina is here. Good afternoon. So glad to be here. Thank you for being here. Now, Brigitte also has a question. I want to hit this because she's got some connection issues. She got a huge message before this that she needs to work through why she doesn't want to be seen, why every action in her life has made her feel small and hidden. Anything you have for that?
So, and her name again, I'm sorry.
Brigitte.
Brigitte. So Brigitte, so there's an issue with what they're saying to me is there's an issue with the balance of your light, meaning, again, past, that to be seen was courageous, and yet it came with impalement, inflictions. And so in this lifetime, in essence, they're saying to me, like, you want to shine, it's innate in you, you're confused or you're challenged at how to do it, but you withdraw, you hold back because of the fact that it was a challenge, it was a hardship, it was something that you were punished for in past lifetimes. And so, and there's also an aspect of just the simple fact in this lifetime that they're saying to me, it's like, you want to be seen, but you don't want to be seen. And so you hide, you're hiding your light. And they're reminding me of it's a biblical saying where you don't hide your light under a bushel basket. You don't go into the house and put the lantern under a bushel basket. You lift the bushel basket off so as to illuminate the dark spaces, the dark. So one way that they're saying to me, one way that you can, in essence, exterminate the dark, if you will, meaning transmute the darkness, is to stand more in the light. You hide away a lot, they're saying. So you don't go out as much, you hide yourself in many ways. So stand in the light, get as much sunlight, vitamin D sunlight, and that's going to continually help you regenerate, renew is what they're saying. It's going to bring you more into harmony and balance. It's going to give you more structure, more strength, more core vitality. And eventually, because they're saying to me, it is an eventual thing with you. That's your process. They're saying to me, your process is to take it in bite sizes, not to necessarily quantum leap. So as you do that, it will bring you further and further and further out to where you'll finally be, you'll look back and say, oh, where did my confidence come from? When did that happen? That's what I'm hearing for you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And please let us know if that rings true with you, Brigitte. We also have Dina, again, I am so sorry. Your question today is, what else can I do to expedite a physical healing? What purpose is this dis-ease and pain still serving? What lesson do I still need to learn from this experience? So let's go back to that first question. What else can I do to expedite a physical healing?
And the first thing I heard for you is let go. So suffering, the root of suffering is attachment. And so let go of this issue. It's causing you elongated suffering, harm, dis-ease. They're saying to me, it is a deep wound. It's a wound. It's a deep wound. It's a deep hurt. It has betrayal attached to it and so forth. And so first and foremost, let go. This is the surrender part. Because we can't control the outcome. We can't control the others. We can only control our choices, our actions, ourselves. And so in the healing, we don't need the other people to help us heal. We can heal ourselves. So that's the first part that I'm hearing for her.
Okay, that's beautiful. So the second part of the question is, what purpose is this dis-ease and pain still serving?
So on that piece, immediately it was about forgiveness, and it's forgiveness of self. So whether, again, you played, this is the part of, is it happening for you or to you? You played a role in this. And so again, as much forgiveness is about self-forgiveness. It's not about blame. It's always, everything that happens on a soul level is divine and neutral. So when we take a step back, you'll hear this not from a state of, oh, I did something wrong and I'm to blame. No, that's not the moral of the story. The moral is, on a soul level, it's neutral and divine. What was my role? What part did I play? And the gift, the pearl, is forgiveness, self-forgiveness, forgiveness in the overall aspect of it. So it's about letting go, and it's about forgiveness. So far, the
third is, what lesson do I still need to learn from this experience?
It's kind of, so it's combined in these two. It is the letting. What do you still need to learn? Acceptance. Again, self-acceptance, the letting go, the self-forgiveness. So once you see this, so they're saying to me, it's the Hangman card. You're looking at this from a position that you have had some longevity with, some history with. The Hangman card is all about, he's upside down, one foot, he's happy, he's not stressed or challenged. And she is, the Hangman card is about finding a new perspective on something. It's opening yourself. So by letting go, self-forgiveness, you reach and then seeing it from a new perspective, standing back and saying it's divine and neutral. So what do you need to still learn? You still need to learn this new perspective. You need to see how you can change from what you believe it is and what your experience, what you've told yourself, all of that, to what is it really? because what it is really is an opportunity, a gift.
Mhm.
It can be cloaked in opposites, in challenge. It can be brutal. But when you can still stand back, it's that face up against the glass, Debbie, where like our face is mashed up against the glass. When we step back long enough from it and we're willing to see it from a new perspective, we make space inside for that healing, for that release. And so that will guide, they're saying that will guide you. There's something about, you have a connectedness to the heavens, the stars, the moon, and so forth, the heavens. So, which says to me that this issue is very divine. It's very deep, it's very personal, but it's also very divine. You really chose this on a soul level to experience forgiveness. That is the word that is the root word. So remember that this is divine and neutral. It's a gift. Flip your perspective and just entertain that. Even if I know that's a challenge, but sometimes just step back and go, well, if it is a gift, what might the gifts, and notice it's plural, gifts be? And you'll start to receive like, oh. But if you never make space for that opportunity, it can't come. It's blocked.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for that answer. I'm being guided to share that though this may be a specific question that someone else is asking, to please be open to receiving the knowledge, this information, as to how it may apply to someone else who's listening and watching right now. That though it may come as one specific person's question, that there is something in everything for everyone. And so there's always little bits and pieces if you're really listening and if you're really open to taking that in. And I'm being guided to share that in this moment right now. I want to go back to our list and say, so first of all, please let us know if that answers your question. And that was a beautiful answer. So thank you for that. Say hello to Casey, who is here. Kieran is here, and Michelle. And let's see, who else do we have? Gina. And let's see. Okay, so now we have a couple other questions up here. Well, actually, we have more than a couple. So let me see. Casey said that she would like us to look into the witch wound. Now, Casey also wrote something else further down. So she has so many ideas, but not sure where to begin. Looking for clarity on the best way to share my gifts at this time, which gifts to focus on in order to expand her own healing and prosperity, while also helping others. So let's touch on, I guess, that first part about the witch wound.
So what instantly comes to me about that is the witch wound is, of course, the oppression and the suppression and the degradation of the feminine, the divine feminine archetype. Again, the attack of the woo-woo-ness of listening and dealing with the unseen. And immediately, Casey, there's a moment here where we must all choose, no matter whether we're talking about the witch wound, the divine feminine, or just period life in general. Am I of service? And we all are, but here's the question. Am I of service to the light, to goodness, to the light, or to darkness, to evil? So that is a paramount question that no matter how we're going through life, no matter the arena, if you will, that's just a staple foundation question. Once you've said, okay, I am serving the light, then Casey, in this instant, in your specific question, they're saying to you, let go of the wound. If you're focused on the wound, your energy is in the less than good, in the negative space. Mm-hmm. However, when you're focused on the positivity, the light of moving beyond it, how am I a catalyst for positive change, for the light, So you're not attached to the suffering of the past. You're not attached to the wound. You're serving the light, and you're serving in a way that says, let us look to the future. Let me be in this moment the positive healing, the positive aspect. Because again, it's all in transition, right? We're all moving. Everything is moving. It's fluid and it's energy. So Casey, for you specifically, it's going to be about choosing your path. And it's very important you choose your path, choose your lane. Once you've chosen, it's going to assist and help, and it's going to dictate your experiences. So they're saying to me, you have much to offer. So choose wisely is what they're saying, and focus on the positive, the light aspect of this. That is where we're headed. That is where we're going. So yeah, I feel like there might be something, Debbie, that we'll come back to on that, but I'll leave it there at the moment.
Well, she does have she put in another question a little further down, which is that she has so many ideas and not sure where to begin, and looking for clarity on the best way to share her gifts at this time and which gifts to focus on. Anything on that so that she can expand her own healing and prosperity at the same time as helping others?
Yes. So immediately I'm seeing for Casey, it's like a field of flowers, like flowers, angelic card readings, things of this nature. So you can see instantly that the fields of flowers in general, angelic card readings and so forth. That's all very luminous. It's of the light. It's pure. It's angelic. They're saying that you have an affinity to these things. That it's like a naturist is maybe a way I would say, like you love nature, you love the beauty of natural elements and so forth, and of delicate things. So, or, fine things. So you would be, there's a way for you to bridge these two, a la the magic, let's call it white magic, and the angelic. You can bridge or marry those two. They don't have to be at odds with each other. And you don't need to focus on the negative, if you will, which is the wound, the witch wound, the degradation and oppression and suppression of the divine feminine. Completely turn your focus to the positivity, to the healing of it, and how you will play a role in the healing by simply focusing your energy on that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Marrying the two together, so they don't have to be at odds. That's beautiful. Okay, let us know if that answers your questions, Casey. Then we have Michelle, who is saying, it's so nice to be live with all of you. Keep getting signs to make huge life changes. So scary, but exciting at the same time. Don't we all know that? And
welcome to the awakened journey.
Yes, welcome to the awakened journey. Exactly. I love that. Let's see. How do I know I can trust the signs and it's not just her ego driving? That's a really great question. Great question, Michelle.
This is the trick. When you think back and, to an older generation, or to history, we had those beautiful radios with a dial. It was in your car, it was in your home. And of course now everything is digital and so forth. But the point is, listening to your soul is like the subtlety of fine-tuning that dial. It's like there's a lot of static, there's a lot of, maybe this channel, that channel's coming in or whatever. And then you hit that sweet spot, and it's just the most pure, clear station frequency. And so the difference between listening to your soul and listening to your ego, your personality, is going to be the difference between a whisper and someone shouting. You'll feel it. It will be down through your core, through your center, this knowing, this whisper, this just subtle constant. And the rest will be he, ha, who, ha. It's all over the place.
Right.
Well, that's the static of the other channels.
Right.
But when you just sit in the moment, it's such a pure transmission, a pure knowing. It can come in your gut, it can come in your overall being, just an instantaneous, you just know that's your soul. Any him han, whatever, that's your mind, your ego, personality, fear.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Let us know if that answers your question, Michelle. And next we have Kieran. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Kieran. She has a question for James. Despite all the changes I've tried to make in my life, understanding the power of mind, like you once told her, and working on being more positive, more courageous, she's still struggling with health, trauma, nightmares, being lost and alone. How can I finally heal from this and help others in a better way? Is there any guidance you can give which can help me to understand what may be going on, and what does she need to change and learn? And she says, thank you very much.
So again, I'm instantly reminded of attachment. So in this case, Kieran, our environment, our way of life, our circumstance, the simplest thing. So we may think that we have no ability, no money, no way out, no way through, no way to change. And yet, the simplest thing as changing your thought in a moment, I always say stop and pivot. So if you're that alone, this simple act of stopping the thought, you stop the thought in its tracks. If it's a less than thought, if it's a negative thought, if it's something affecting you in a negative way, stop and pivot. When you take yourself out of the environment that you're in, and they're saying you've been in a circular, in a cyclical environment for some time. So breaking the cycle, moving yourself out of and beyond the self-imposed limits, and that has to do with family. So there's a familial cycle going on here. There's familial control going on here. There's archetypes, and everyone's playing their role. So it's like being on the merry-go-round. Well, if you want to get off the merry-go-round, sometimes you just have to jump. Mm-hmm. You can't wait for it to slow until it finally stops, because someone comes along and pushes it again. It's like at the playground, right? It's like at the playground. I don't know about anybody else. One of the things I did get in this lifetime that's a bit of a challenge is motion sickness. So it's all well and good to be on the merry-go-round for a little bit, and then you're like, I want off.
Right.
So yeah, so Kieran, they're saying to me, break the chains that bind you. Because you're playing a role in the elongation, in the cyclical nature of something that is I believe the word is endemic to your family, to your circle, and it keeps you in this state, this elongated state of darkness, is what they're saying. So again, simple things or courageous things, simply move, find your way through, because they are saying you have the means. That doesn't always mean that it's financial, but you have the means to move yourself forward. It's simply seeing it. It's simply taking the step or the act to do it.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I think that probably is one of those situations where seeing the forest through the trees, when you're caught up in everything, it's so hard to see beyond some of that. And I think in this case, I know, if you have health issues, and that kind of has you in a limited movement position because you're having health difficulties, how do you move beyond that?
And yet, Debbie, so with that, I mean, as again, the internet, or, you're able to say, I've been in this circumstances of negative health and something. What is available to me today? And what's interesting about that, and why they're emphasizing today, because we can look at something through the lens of the past. I've looked, I've tried, it didn't work, it wasn't there, whatever. And yet, as time progresses, you go and you finally say, okay, I'll go look again. Well, all of a sudden there's breakthroughs or new treatments or new offerings that are available now. And
Right.
so in that, and then you look to say, okay, oh, wow, that's now available. Okay, Spirit, Source, Symphony, God, Allah, all above, help me. Is this meant for me? Help me get there. And you place out, that's where I want to go. And all of a sudden, again, the universe conspires on your behalf. They're with you, and they move you to that experience.
Yeah, and I'm also getting that there are tools in this retreat that would be supportive for you, Kieran. So, please make sure that you're also downloading those different free gifts that I think will help in some ways to help you clear some things. So let us know if that was helpful. And now let's see, Deborah has a question. I feel as though there are blockages holding me back. I have no memories of my childhood up to age 6 or so. Does that have anything to do with it?
So instantly I'm hearing no on whether the childhood, the not having memories of, so the blockages, Deborah, and it's interesting, Deborah is the B. So these blockages they're saying to me, patriarchal wounds. So you moving forward is about releasing the past. So they're showing me the inner child, the you. So it's not about the fact that you blocked it. It's about the fact that you want to let go of it. Again, everything is purposeful. So again, when you look at, Deborah, when you look at the fact that your soul says, I come in and I don't remember the first 6 years. And that's purposeful. It's done for a reason so that you'll move forward. Now, this is very strange. They're talking about like RCA Records, Motown. So I'm wanting to, I'm letting this come through. So it's about seeing the past through new eyes. There's a richness, and yet there's a richness, and yet there's a cover up to what's going on. And they're applying, they're showing me the Motown, the RCA, in essence, African-American performers, recording artists and everything, that whole industry at that time in relation to the rest of the world at that time and now. And so how does this relate to you? They're saying to me, it relates to you in terms of the cover up. So they're showing me when you put your, you have that beauty, and again, it's vintage. It's like the vintage Thunderbird, and they've got it, Debbie, where there's a car cover over the top of it. So you can see, you have its form, nice car cover and whatever, but you can't see. So this has to do, Deborah, with you. The blockages have to do with you seeing in a way that is clear, that is pure. It's so that it's not encumbered, filtered. So you not remembering was a benefit. It's a benefit, because if you were to see it through those eyes, you wouldn't release it. You wouldn't attach the blockages. So they're still there. They're holding you right now, but you have the opportunity to see things clearly. And they're saying to me, you just haven't wanted. They're like, she can see clearly. She knows what these blockages are. She knows how to move through them. And she's just, they're going like this. She's just shaking her head saying, no, not ready. No, 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 no. Well, guess what? It's time. It's
Yes,
time, Deborah.
it's always a choice, is it not? And yet, it's that realization, that recognition of that.
Absolutely. And again, remember, Deborah, it's not harmful. It's not harmful. Everything is divine and neutral. You know what the blocks are very clearly. They're saying to me very clearly, you know what the blocks are. You know how to remove them, release them, go around them. You just have to be willing to do so. And what's preventing you from doing that? It's the fear of the unknown. It's what's on the other side of this. If I let go of this, because it's been undercover, it's like, oh, then someone's going to see the beautiful, sparkly, shiny Thunderbird, and oh, what happens now?
Yes, that could be scary in and of itself if you don't want to be seen.
Right. And yet you are that brilliant, beautiful, vintage, pristine Thunderbird.
Right.
Get the car cover off and take it out for a spin and,
right.
Let the world see it, see you.
Yeah. There's such beauty in, as I said before about, please be open to that these things you may not be asking, but there may be pieces in this for you. And so it's interesting, last night I was with friends and we were having this exact conversation about not remembering things from your childhood. So thank you, Deborah. You've touched many people with your question, because there are many people similarly who have situations like that. So let us know if that was helpful. And our next question comes from Gina. And she says, hi, Debbie and James. I'm ready to be of service to the divine. I'm a healer, but feel there is something more for me to do. What is keeping me from my clairs and gifts? Thank you, beautiful souls. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Gina.
Yes, thank you, Gina. So will you just read the first part again about...
Absolutely.
Sorry, because something came through.
Sure. She's ready to be of service to the divine. She's a healer.
There we go.
There you go.
That's so the first thing, Gina, is you're ready to be of service for the divine. And I instantly heard, you already are. So it's to recognize that you already are. We are all already in service to the divine. The awakened journey, this whole experience of how you move forward from this point is about, what do I choose to do now in how I expand that? Do I expand or do I contract? Do I stay the same, which is impossible, but that's another whole discussion. So you already are in service to the divine. So this is about you. They're saying hone your craft, hone your skill, and that means expanding it. So they're saying you took a pause or a beat, or you stepped back, and you've been kind of in limbo, reassessing what you want to do, how what you've done, you want to, quote unquote, be of service to the divine. So they're reminding you that you already are. So this is a continuation, and so there's a course of study is what they're saying to me. So there's a course of study for you that will bridge, elongate, enhance what you already do. It appears as though you're already aware of it. It's already been brought to you, or it's within your sphere of consciousness. And you've just been debating, contemplating, is that the way to go? And they're saying, yes, that's the way to go. That will bridge. There's a bridge between these things. They may appear in the moment to be disconnected, but once you complete add this other piece, there's a bridge between them. They're gonna come together in a way that you don't necessarily see or recognize in this moment. You're seeing them as being disconnected or completely different, not recognizing how they're interwoven.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And so let us know if that answers your question also. And let's see, we still have a few more down here, so I want to keep moving along. So Bissa is asking, she says, "Hi, James. I feel scattered about directions to take with my connection to source. I meditate, however, still not sure about all my gifts and what to do to help others and myself. Thank you."
So right off the bat, it's Bissa?
Bissa.
Bissa, okay.
Bissa love.
So Bissa love. So right off the bat, when Debbie started speaking, I heard the word trust. So you are at a pivotal moment, is what they're saying to me. You're at a pivotal moment, and there's a juxtaposition about this. So they're saying that in choosing to trust, and the trust is about you choosing to trust yourself, your soul source connection, your true north, in staying in that state, that sphere of influence, because they're saying you get outside influence, you get external chatter. They're giving me the monkeys at the monkey mind, the monkeys at the lake type thing. So your way through is to stay in this sphere of self-trust, listening to your core channel. And they're showing me that when you're sitting, it's almost like in a lotus position, you're sitting. And when you're sitting in that state, your column, your core is divinely and directly and divinely connected. It's when you come out of that state that things get messed up, is the way they're saying it, like shuffled, messed up, a little confused. It's as if you're allowing the world events, the things that are happening in the world, happening around you, to then influence you or take you off track. And so trust is where you're able to stay in that core influence, that core column, and allow. So they're showing me the tilt-a-whirl. Again, we're back to the amusement park. Life is an amusement, Debbie. This is all. They're like, you're at an amusement park. Here's life. Here it is. So it's the tilt-a-whirl. The tilt-a-whirl is the circular ride that has the motion. You're kind of strapped to the outside rim, and it starts spinning, and the floor starts moving up and down, and completely makes me ill. But the point here, Bissa, is in the center, the centrifuge in the center is absolutely still. It's absolutely still. So it's kind of the eye of the hurricane, if you will, the eye of the storm. Stay in the eye of the storm. The storm can go around, go by, but by staying in the center, they're saying to me, Bissa, you're going to thrive in a way, you're going to come alive, you're going to thrive in a way, because when you are in that state, you're highly connected, you're very connected, you know what to do. When you step out of that state, it all kind of dissipates, falls apart. Stay in that center state of trust and then execute from that place. If you're in doubt, just bring yourself into that centered place. Yes, okay, and then go execute. No time lapse. Don't allow your core energy and influence to dissipate. When you receive, what do I need to do? Got it, and execute. And that's going to really accelerate your growth and guide you to what you're meant to do.
And that's going to require real presence in the now, presence in the moment, because if you get too caught off this direction, too caught off that direction, you're going to miss it. And so you really need to be in the present moment in order to be in that centered state.
Absolutely. And it's a commitment to actual commitment. So it's the commitment to, I'm in this space, I'm listening, I'm receiving, and then it's the commitment to now execute. What do I need to do for the moment that you need to do it? And then, okay, there's life happening. Okay, come back, commit, execute.
That's beautiful. Okay, I hope that helped. And now our next question is from Debbie. This is the day of Debbie and Deborah's. She would love a message. Dear James, seeking to find what I'm really supposed to be, in quotes, doing with my future. I guess I am afraid I'm not good enough, or should I say strong enough?
So immediately when you were talking, I heard the word love. So before you even got to, I don't know that I'm worthy enough or good enough and so forth. It's about love, and love in the most expanded state. So meaning, it's not, it's not the, I don't mean to make fun, like the love yourself and blah, blah. Okay, yes. This is about being aware of the truth, the actual validity and truth of love. So is it Deborah or Debbie? Debbie. So I know the bees. It's really quite fascinating. For everyone listening, in case you don't know, Deborah, Debbie, Deb, they are the bees. They are the divine guides, if you will, of the divine feminine. So it's no coincidence that we're here with Deborah, and all these Debbies and Deborahs. And so to come back to Debbie's question, they're saying to me, you're an influencer. You're just afraid to show up. You're afraid of your own shadow, your own voice. And yet you stand in a state of divine grace, of divine love. So it's not so much about love yourself. I'm using air quotes, love yourself. It's about love, period. Love. Everything is love. The only difference is to what depth is the shadow or the light? How far away is that? So it's a spectrum. So Debbie, they're saying stand in your own light. You know it exists. You know it's there. You know you have a voice. They're saying to me, you have a voice. You know what you want to say. Now it's just about doing so. Now it's just about how you do so. So they're saying to me, you have the ability, like a previous caller, it wasn't about her soul's way was about going in slow increments, if you will. Debbie, asking her question, her soul, she has the ability to quantum leap, boom. I mean, it can be, I'm afraid, I'm not sure if I'm worthy enough and so forth. And then all of a sudden in a second, she just goes, got it. And she just leaps forward, leaps and bounds, and kind of leaves everybody, they're scratching their head and going, I'm sorry, what happened? Who is this? Like, that's what's on offer for you. You have the choice. You can, as they're saying, you can slow roll it if you'd like, but you don't have to. And so the way, so if it's simply just writing what you want to say, okay, so they're saying to me, use a pseudonym if that's what you need to do. If you need to use a pseudonym to get your message out until you feel confident and in a state of divine love and bliss to then reveal yourself, so be it. At some point by doing this, Debbie, you are going to quantum leap. It's just, I can't, your soul is all about coming out.
So whether you're ready or not, here I come.
Like, woo, here we are. That's how it feels. So I'll leave you with this, Debbie. They're saying to you, they're giving me the word namaste. And namaste means I bow to the divine in you. They are bowing to the divine in you. Ooh. Yeah, it makes me want to, so know that that's who you are. Know that that's what you have to offer. And and go forth and conquer, go forth and shine your light.
Oh my goodness, Debbie, do it. Do it. Yes. I'm so excited for you. Yes. Yes. That's beautiful. So, dear James, before I move on, because we are at our hour point, do you have a little extra time? Because there's a couple more questions here.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to take these last two questions and then we'll move on from there. So we have Anita. I keep seeing 49 in various combinations. Oops, where did that just go? Not sure if it means I am working hard enough or if I'm not working hard enough. I know I'm supported by the universe, but this is quite persistent. Any insights?
So 49. So 4 is foundational. 4 legs on a chair, I often say. So it's a 4. 9 is about the cycle, the culmination of things. And then 4 and 9 becomes 13, the number of the divine feminine. It's an interesting thing. Of course, they always say, oh, 13, it's a bad luck number. It's, Isn't it interesting how that number is obscured just as the divine feminine has been obscured?
Yes.
So they tell you it's something opposite of what it truly is. So right. There's 13. And then, of course, 13, never really supposed to reduce 13 because it's the divine feminine. She stands on her own. However, you can see that it comes back to 1 plus 3 is a 4. So again, supremely foundational. So 49, what it's saying to me, and it was Gina, correct? Is that? I believe Debbie, your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry about that. It's Anita. Okay. Sorry, my dog was walking through. I was trying to mute the sound.
We're getting a little divine pause.
I'm just giving you a little extra time, dear James.
There we go. So Anita. So 49 showing up, and it has a double 4 built in, and with the 9 and the 13 culminations. So they're saying to me as well, so seek to ground yourself more. That's apparent. It's both in your work, but it appears as though they're saying to me you're lacking foundation, and yet you have it, and yet it's on offer. It's built in, and it appears as though again you're beginning a cycle. So you've completed one. There's the 9. You've completed something. You're now beginning something, and you're thereby wanting greater stability, greater foundation. They're saying it's like seemingly, if you're looking from the outside in, it appears as though you have everything. You have everything you need, you want, you desire, it's all there. From the inside out, the way they're giving it to me is you're lacking foundation, which would mean you're lacking trust. So trust with yourself, trust. And so the way through, because they're saying you have other great adventures. Like this is not your swan song. So whatever you've just finished, completed, and what you're embarking on, and when I say embarking, they're showing me like this dunk. There's like multiple stepping stones, multiple other things that you're going to do, accomplish, experience, and thereby, and it will have the influence and the aspects of the divine feminine in it, built in. And so what you want and need is greater stability, greater inner stability, trust, foundation. Because as you move forward, they're going to require more of you. They're going to be bigger. And thereby, what you may have mastered now in the moment, you will need your foundation gets wider, deeper, higher. And so that's what the 49 is speaking to.
That's beautiful. That really is, wow, a lot of information in that, and something as simple as a number. You know, I'm a numbers person. I'm very much in, you know this as well, but we're very much always looking at the meanings and the messages that come through for the numbers. And so it never minimize when you see a number, there's always something to it. So that's beautiful. So thank you, Anita. I hope that answers your questions. We have one last question here that I'm going to address, and that is from Haley. When our loved ones can be communicated with in spirit, does that mean their growth is finished? Are they able to come through if they're in another incarnation? Oh, that's a good question. I like that one.
So the answer is yes. When our loved ones transcend this realm, they are as much alive as we are, if not more, is the way I'm hearing it, if not more. So they're in an expanded state. What do they mean by that? They're in an expanded state. We are, imagine that you're taking this magnitude of energy and encapsulating it down into a physical, they're showing me the capsule of like a pill, you know, a capsule. So you're trying to encapsulate something that's so expansive and big. So our loved ones are constantly with us, and strands and facets of them. So meaning, to answer Haley's specific question, even if they've gone on to another experience, assignment experience, there is a greater whole, a greater arc of them that is present. The minute we think of them, boom, there's an aspect, a presence of them. And I often say to clients and so forth, when loved ones come through and they so much want to be a part of our lives ongoing as they've been while incarnated, it's solely up to us to allow that, to invite them in, and then be open to the way they're able to communicate with us. And so again, we don't have the opportunity, the luxury of being able to communicate as we're doing right now once our loved one has transferred over. But they do show up, and Debbie, just 11:07 Pacific time, 1:17, the master's journey. So there's an affirmation for everyone that what is being delivered right now is true, that they go on. They communicate with us in signs and symbols and ways. I'll share very quickly, a personal one. My mother, my father had passed, and my mother said, you know, I really want to be able to interact with him the way you do. And I said, well, you just have to be open to the way they present themselves. And we were driving on, we were leaving, we were on the Highway 395 as the interior route, and we were going up to Mount Shasta, California. So if anybody's familiar, it's not like being on the 5 or the 10 or the 70 or the 15 or, you know, or the 40, these major freeways and highways in the US. It's an interior road. It's 2 lanes each way, and you might not see anyone for some time. And just as she had expressed that and I had answered her, this truck goes by, and in the back window in the center back window was this massive decal of the Marine Corps decal, of which my father was a Marine of 25 years. And of course, at that moment, she sees it, she kind of takes in a gasp, and then she starts crying. And I go, see? It's, what are the chances that at that exact moment, she expresses a desire, she receives an answer about, okay, but they communicate in other ways. And then this truck goes by with a massive Marine Corps decal in the center window. So be open to the way your loved ones come through. It can be a scent, it can be a memory, it can be a sign like that. Whatever it is, that is their way of communicating with you. And yes, Haley, They absolutely can be, it's bifurcating is the way they're saying it to me. If you look back in our history, human history, you will see experiences of people being in two places at once. Where it's like, how do they explain it? It's a phenomenon of being in two places at once. This is the act of the soul. It's very easy for the soul to do that. So they can be in another incarnation or another life experience, soul experience, and still be able to communicate with you. Absolutely.
It's kind of like when they say about if you're communicating with the archangels and you're calling on Archangel Michael at the same time I'm calling on Archangel Michael. Well, yes, Archangel Michael is responding to both of us. It's not like it's just a one-way telephone line that's only going, you only get it at that moment and I have to wait until you're finished your call. Right.
Because we're all we're multifaceted beings.
Right.
And so, I mean, can you imagine the backup on, there's 8 billion plus people just on Earth, let alone, everywhere else. And it's like, I'm sorry, there's a queue.
Right, exactly. Well, and we're it's the essence of who we are. And it's so expansive that it's not limited by any of those things. But that was an incredible question. So thank you, Haley, for asking that, excuse me. So I want to just briefly go through some of these comments and then we'll move on to the next part of this. But everyone is just in awe, basically, as I always am, of your gifts and the information that Spirit Source Symphony, puts through and that you're able to share. I'm always blown away. And as I'm getting ready to say that, Debbie says, my mind is blown, tears of joy. Bissa says, thank you so much. Exactly what I do. Trust what I receive and how I feel has been my problem. She really appreciated your guidance. Michelle Lang, that is awesome. So everyone in here is, Haley saying that is perfect. Thank you, dear James. That's beautiful. It makes me think it's why they visit in her dreams. Anita says, thank you very much, that she's going to really think about what you've said. Deborah said, thank you so much for all your insights. She's truly grateful. Debbie Harris says, thank you so much. Namaste. So just, so much appreciation for your sharing your gifts with us. And, as I've said in our earlier conversation that, you're the real deal. So, when you say stuff, the stuff comes through you, you are a clear channel of incredible information. And so I highly recommend that if anyone has questions, that they schedule a reading with you because you will never be disappointed. So thank you, friends, for that. And yes, go ahead. What did you want to say?
I was just going to say, and truly I'm purely the vessel, the messenger. Correct. The credit all goes to Spirit, Source, and Symphony, the unseen. They are here guiding all of us, and I just have the humble honor and privilege to listen and assist. And so thank you, everyone, for participating and listening and being present today. It's truly a gift in return.
So, dear James, what do you have on tap? How can people reach you? What places are you currently live? Do you have any special offerings, anything like that you would like to share with us?
Absolutely. Everyone can reach me easily through DearJames.com. So that's the website. I'm on all social media channels. So everywhere from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Clubhouse. I do some daily lives and some weekly lives. I also do a collaboration with the lady Jacqueline, and she does human design work. So she and I are teaming up and doing lives. Right now, they're every Wednesday at 8:30 Pacific on Facebook. So those are the main ways by which to interact, follow, and engage. And then coming up, I'm going to be launching a monthly workshops. So they're going to be monthly soul transformations workshops, and it'll be a maximum of 10 or 12 participants. And it's going to entail, out of the 4 weeks, it'll entail 2 one-on-one readings, 2 group readings, So in essence, 4 once a week readings. And then in essence, when I say 24/7 access, it's not literally 24/7, but extended access, so that as you are working through and you're facing a moment or a challenge, you're able to reach me very quickly and interact with that. And that's why the groups are going to stay 10 to 12 people. And that will launch in January. And so there'll be a sign up coming up where you'll see that on dearjames.com and through social media. And there's a magic, you've mentioned this early, so I just want to affirm that when you come together in a group, and especially when I've done group readings, and there's an incredible awe, there's a magic that happens, because again, it'll be, what was your question? And by the end of the time shared together, the feedback has always been, I know so-and-so asked this or so-and-so asked that, but this question and this question and this question, or my question was this, but this, and this, I needed to hear. It just wasn't my question. So there's a beauty in when you come together. Again, everything's purposeful. So it's just magical how that works. So those are what's happening with Dear James.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like you're going to be really having a lot of opportunities for people to work with you. You always are available for one-on-one consultations, but this is definitely a next tier of that, so that more people can come together. Because it is, as you just said, even just sitting here in this forum, I think we've had up to 17 or 18 people in here on the live with us at one point or another. We're all experiencing each other's energy, and we're all benefiting from the information that each person has asked, as you said, because, I'm listening to some of these different questions that people ask, and I'm like, well, that applies to me. Oh, well, that one does too. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that one's me too. So we all can look at this and say, okay, there's pieces to all of this that we can each, little nuggets. We always talk about those little golden nuggets that we can take from each one of these things and incorporate into our own life experience and be better for having been a part of it. So I love that you're offering that. I love that you're creating this group and that you're going to be offering such incredible access, which, you don't see that a lot. So that's really beautiful. And it speaks to your genuine, your soul is just so genuine and so loving and so caring. And you're always willing to go that extra mile, that extra step. So kudos to you and thank you for being you. And so we now know. So I want to ask one last quick question of you. So you mentioned all these different places, but I think that some of them are not just Dear James. Isn't there one that might be Dear James LLC for someone to reach you?
Yes. So it varies on what was available on social media. But if you type in, so on Facebook, it's Dear James LLC.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's DearJames_intuitive. Mm-hmm. And then on Twitter, it's Dear James, and I believe on YouTube it's Dear James LLC. So it's a little bit, but regardless, if you go to any one of the social media platforms or dearjames.com, you will see the links to all the social media. So you'll be able to follow, subscribe, join in on the lives and everything and so forth easily. So you can do that from the website as well.
Perfect. So one last thing. I always like to ask, do you have any parting words that you would like to share with everyone?
Yes, I would like to leave everybody with this, knowing that your soul is your true north, your intuition is your compass, your guide, and that full faith, trust, and surrender are your keys. So when you utilize these and you combine them all, you will be walking, participating, consciously engaged in the awakened journey. And while it isn't always for the faint of heart, there are moments that will challenge. The overall gift is just priceless. And so I would leave everybody with that.
That's lovely. That is so, it really is. It's such a beautiful journey. It's such a beautiful awakening. And yes, it has its moments, but when we really can see beyond that and the purity and the truth and the knowledge that we do experience, there's nothing quite like it when you open to that. So thank you again so much, dear James. It's always a pleasure. I'm so grateful for the extra time that you've put in with us today. And if people have additional questions, are you available to just kind of answer in group? Are you going to be in group, or what are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I'm happy to participate, and I make myself available and just comment and interact as they need. So
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. Perfect. All right, wonderful. So thank you, dear James. Thank you, friends, for being here. We so appreciate your presence, and thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. I know I didn't necessarily get to every single one of them. I tried to get to the questions, but so much gratitude to you for taking the time to actually respond and let us know. And until tomorrow, which is, we will have Jen Gilchrist live with us tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern time. And if you have questions for Jen, please leave those on the private Facebook group page under events, and I'll put a special post up there so that you can write those as well. So thank you so much. Thank you, dear James. Mwah. Love to you and to everyone else. Much love and many blessings. We will be back tomorrow live. Take care.